Alaikum rahmatullah wa barakatuh. I would like the volunteers to stay with us for just 5 minutes, inshallah. Of course, everyone, but please, 5 minutes of your time, hear a nice story and go, inshallah, and leave. This story has happened in the old days in a city called Al-Basra. Basra is one of the prominent cities in Iraq. And it happened at the time of Tabi'een. By the way, Basra is a very modern city compared to Medina and Mecca. And in that city, many people were still not very much into Islam. So it was a pattern for the youth in that Basra to drink alcohol, right? So they used to consume alcohol. They used to stay on the streets. They were Muslims. And they were in the old days, and they had the greatest scholars, but it's still, unfortunately. So it's not something very different right now, but except that the story tells us how they were different as people, even though they were sinners, from today's people who are sinners. So listen to the story. The story says there was this young man called Abdullah al-Qa'nabi. Abdullah al-Qa'nabi, from the people of Al-Basra. Abdullah al-Qa'nabi used to sit with his friends on the streets, drinking alcohol, making fun of people, talking about others, mocking at others, and even chasing some women. And of course, this sounds familiar, right? In front of the mall, people, how they consume drugs sometimes, and they are looking for opposite gender to do all the haram things. So they were doing the same. All of us, while in one day he was waiting for his friends to just start their acts, there was a big crowd coming from a distance, and between that big crowd there was someone riding a donkey. Not a camel, not a horse, donkey. So this Abdullah al-Qa'nabi was like, oh, this seems to be very weird to me. I didn't see this before. So he wanted to explore what is going on. So he found like dozens and dozens of people surrounding a man who was sitting on that donkey, and they were moving with him. So he was so brave, and he was like, who is this? Like, why do people care about someone riding a donkey? So he asked, who is this? And then somebody told him, this is Imam Sha'bah. Imam Sha'bah. Imam Sha'bah was one of the greatest scholars in Hadith. And so he was like, who is Sha'bah? What does he do? So he was like, who are you guys? So someone told him, he is a muhaddith. So Abdullah al-Qa'nabi was like, what does muhaddith mean? And they told him, now still the Imam who was on the donkey was silent, but everyone was like staring at him. How do you dare to even talk to a muhaddith like this? So they asked him, so what does a muhaddith mean? They said, someone who gives you the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, okay, give me one hadith. So he wanted to challenge him. So now the Imam or the Alim, the scholar, wanted to give him a lesson. So he said, حدثني منصور بن زازان, that I heard from Imam Mansur ibn Zazan. قال سمعت عن ربعي ibn حراش. He said that I have heard from ربعي ibn حراش. قال سمعت أبا مسعود البدري يقول. I have heard from Abi Mas'ud al-Badri saying, سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول. I have heard Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم saying, إن مما أدرك الناس من كلام النبوة الأولى إذا لم تستحي فاصنع ما شئت. One of these sayings that people have retained from the early prophethood was this statement: if you have no shame, then do whatever you like to do. If you have no shame, then do whatever you like to do. Now this Abdullah al-Qa'nabi was shocked. This hadith applies 100% to him. He has no shame. He has no respect. He was spending his time in nothing but to enjoy his desires and do all that stuff. So he left and he went to his mother And he said, my mom, I want to change my life. So he took some money and he asked, where can I learn more about hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Where is the best place? So they told him, the best place is to leave Basra and go to the city of Medina of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And there you can learn from the very close people to Rasulullah. He went there, and who did he get there? Imam Malik ibn Anas. Imam Malik was the head of one of the four schools of thought, Imam Malik ibn Anas. So he stayed with him for about 20 to 25 years, learning Muwatta. He recited Muwatta from cover to cover. Muwatta is the compilation of hadith that Imam Malik has done. But when he finished, he wanted to go back and meet with that Sha'bah. Sha'bah, the very person who taught him this hadith and who was a turning factor to him. So he went back to Basra looking for Imam Sha'bah, only to find that he passed away just a few weeks ago. And at that point in time, he became the new Imam Sha'bah in the city of Basra, Abdullah al-Qa'nabi. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among the leaders, among those who give the da'wah and give the khair, and inshallah lead people to the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Jazakumullah khair, sallallahu ala Muhammad.